Welcome back. Big Brothers Big Sisters is in dire need of diverse bigs. Erica's back with the inspiring story of a match that illustrates just how much representation in mentoring matters.
Even on a dreary day, ice cream promises cheer.
Cookie Monster.
As does a caring friend. Rosella Moretto and Karen Rodriguez were paired up 3 years ago by Big Brothers Big Sisters of Eastern Massachusetts. At the time, they were both coping with grief.
Rosella had lost her dad, I had lost someone too, and so even though it wasn't a direct conversation, it was just like an open space, an open time where if you needed to talk about it, we would talk about it.
They bonded gradually, built trust.
She was very shy at first. That was very vivid for me. Monstruo Azul, ¿sí te gusta?
Karen came to the U.S. from Colombia when she was 7, the age Rosella was when the two first met. Rosella's family is from the Dominican Republic. Shared language helped them connect.
I feel like there's something to be said about what doesn't need to be explained or said, right? She would be like, oh, we know, I ate arroz con gandules. And I was like, okay, cool, I love that, right? And I know what that is. I don't have to be like, what is that? What does it taste like?
We put the call out and we say we need mentors. There's no experience necessary.
Mark O'Donnell says right now, Big Brothers Big Sisters is in desperate need of volunteer bigs with language skills and more big brothers.
Women will sign up to our program 4 times to every man. So we want to make sure we're out there telling men and male identifying volunteers, come on, like we need you, these boys are waiting.
O'Donnell says post-pandemic vulnerable children more than ever are struggling with things like learning loss and other stressors.
September, October, November, and December were the 4th highest months for youth being referred to our program. So moms and guardians are signing their kids up at a historic rate.
Volunteering can be tailored to the Bigs schedule, and each match is paired with a support coordinator to provide any help needed.
The more we could remove barriers and create the match that can best communicate, live near each other, have similar interests, the better off we're going to be.
Above all, O'Donnell says being compassionate and just showing up for a little is what matters. That's what Rosella says makes Karen, quote, amazing.
What makes her amazing is her personality and her being herself.
Wow, so great to see the connections that are made through this organization. Constance Carmona, Associate Director of Pathway Programs at Big Brothers Big Sisters, and Aka Dinjung Pa, Director of Community Engagement and Partnerships. Thank you both for joining us today. So Aka, tell us more about the disparity between male and female volunteers. Why is it so challenging to recruit men for these mentoring opportunities?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thanks for that. I think that one of the things that we experience and that we learn when we're recruiting for mentors is that women have an instinctual ability to come to us and respond to the call. And men have an anxiety around whether they can do this. It might be a performance anxiety, but it's something that stops them from understanding that this can fit into their regular lifestyle and they're going to be great mentors, and that we have the supports to kind of encourage them where they might stumble or where they might be nervous.
Because women are naturally nurturers. That's what you're seeing.
Yeah, and I think they respond to the call around community in a way that makes sense. And I think men, not that they don't have that instinct, but I think there's like a little bit more guidance.
There's a little shyness to pull it out.
Yeah.
Constance, what is the new program you're launching in the fall at Revere High School?
Yeah, so currently we are at Edward and Kennedy High School and Madison Park High School, and this will be our first year at Revere, our Big Futures mentoring program at the high school. We will be taking the freshman class, and we match them. We're hoping to get 80 to 100 matches this year with an adult professional, which means a teacher, a nurse. This can be somebody in the trades like plumber, electrician. They are paired together. They talk once a week by text, video chat, or email. And then once a month, they come together in person for a really fun event. This year, we're focusing on self-exploration and career exploration. It's going to be super fun.
Super fun. Let me ask you this. You run the program at several Boston area high schools. Do you think the career focus and lower time commitment might help with the volunteer recruitment?
Absolutely. Very minimal time commitment with a huge impact.
What kind of support do you provide the volunteers?
That's a great question. So all the volunteers are matched with a program coordinator that is one-to-one match support. So they are in contact at least once a month with that person, but they can also reach out at any time to say, hey, this isn't working or I need support with this.
Aka, give us some more insight into the personal conversations you might have had with a man who came into the program and discovered, hey, I really like doing this.
Yeah, we've had a groundswell of support from people who are at the community level. And one in particular that comes to mind is like when you talk to men about this program, and you can kind of like get to a space where we can be vulnerable with one another, men are incredibly excited about the opportunity to do this. Whether it's a fresh out of college, a middle-aged, an empty nester, I think what really helps them is understanding that they can be great at this just the way that they are, right? That they don't need to add more or be somebody different, that there are great mentors in the way that we manifest currently.
Yeah. And it goes without saying, why is it important to have diverse mentors?
Totally. I think one of the things that you're seeing is that we try to be a youth-centric organization. What that means is that very often we try to find the mentors that the families want. And so when kids want representation that either looks like them or is the same gender or sometimes is in an industry they might, it's our responsibility to respond to that, right? And so that's what we have to do.
Yeah, all right. Constance and Aka, thank you so much for being here to tell us about this. We have a link to information about the Big Futures program. It's on our website at WCVB.com.